Right, okay, so we'll continue on with what we've got, and we'll start shoving in some bits and pieces. So let's get into here. We're in the top, we've got the main title. We'll add an image, which is sourced from the images folder, and I just call it image, and I've just got one that I keep using. This image, obviously we need to place this, so this needs a class. So I'll just call it main. And then I also have, if we look at this, is this text here that I need to overlay. I'm going to ignore this thing, and I'll ignore that little bit down there, but doing these two, or three, will obviously suffice in terms of I could do that too if I really wanted to. This is obviously dynamically linked with the database and JavaScript of some description. So it's a couple things I need to group together. So I'm going to put a div class for them. Overlay right, so it's an overlay, and we're going to have a couple of them. So I'm just going to leave it as overlay, and I'm also going to give it, I'll call it main over, so that way I can, do some stuff with it. So the overlay then obviously means that if I want to do any particular like positioning or anything that all the ones that are like this are kind of all pushed in roughly the same, that's fine. These are also all the same, but this one here is obviously bigger than the other one. So this might be an H2 and this one might be an H3, and then I might make those H4s just for the sake of it. So yes. Right. Okay, so H4. And that was lifestyle. And the other one was national news. Right, and then so graduating to a new normal. H2. Graduating to a normal. Graduating, yeah, okay. So weird. Right, okay. So it's that. So let's try and position with main, wasn't it, the image to start with? So main. So obviously a dot for your div class. Now we want to put this one basically same column across, but one further down. You can do this and say 3 to 4. This, because I'm wanting to, I know it's because it's two fractions, even though it's not going across two things. So you could do it like that, or you can just say start one, and I guess it figures out to span one. So obviously, if you wanted to go across a couple, then you could write it like that. It's fine either way. So see how so now you can see this one here, because it's not in that top section, it's assigned itself in that top section. Oh, I don't have the left and right. Oh yes, because they're shrunk down automatically. Once we put content in there, they'll start figuring themselves out. Maybe they should be fractions. Okay, whatever. I don't know. Once you put stuff in there, it'll figure it out. Right, so this image now needs to be shrunk. So I'm going to say width 100%. See what this does. Right, there you go. There's the rest of my rows and columns back. So this has obviously been told to go not in the first one and down one. This one here has been told to go in the next one down again, which is great. And then this needs to be told to go there as well. So this is why grids is great, because you can tell things to overlap quite nicely without having to do weird kind of tweaky things. So it was main overlay is the one I'll use for positioning because it's unique. So I will tell it to do the exact same thing, but I don't want it sitting like at the top. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go self. Sorry, not align self. I'm going to say, yeah, align self. Sorry, align self end down the bottom. Do that. There you go. It's down the bottom, and then we can change these ones here. So okay, let's get into this H4. I will then say background color is dark red, color is white. We want them to sit next to each other. So if we give it a display type, like we do display grid, but there's another one, we can call it display in line with each other. And if we want to do spacing and anything like that, we just put blocks. So that allows us to kind of do widths. So there you go, they're set next to each other. Font size is a little bit big. So let's just go font dash size. Just try 10. Okay. Oh, that might help. My bad. Yeah, that looks a bit better. And I think they could probably do with a little bit of spacing on the end. So padding is your spacer. Top bottom of 0 pixels and left right we'll say maybe 5 pixels perhaps. There you go, that just looks a little bit nicer. Okay, and then graduate to the new normal. So that was the H2. H2 color white. Font size, I'm going to go with like maybe 15 pixels then. Great. I probably want to space these two from each other. So let's just say margin dash top, because I just want to push that one kind of away a wee bit. And I'll just say 5 pixels. Right. Yeah, that looks all right. Then I want to take those and then push them kind of up and in, which if I look here, it's that main overlay. I want to push up and in. Right, so I can say dot overlay, because they're all going to be pushed in kind of the same thing. Margin. And margin top 0 pixels, margin right will be 0 pixels, margin bottom will be 5 pixels, and margin left will be 5 pixels. Yeah, and you got that gap there. Right, and that gap there, margin top, I think that's just a wee bit big. Right, okay. And I reckon the right one should be 10. Right, okay. So there we go, we've got that one set nicely. So we're going to move on to the title that's going to be up here. I'll get rid of the background color of that one. Main title, background color there, and the main. I'll get rid of that background color altogether as well, I think. Right, there we go. Okay, so then let's do this next one. So the next one is another title. So this one is going to be a title for, let's have a look at that image. Editor pics. There's the pics. And I'm going to call it editor title. So I'm just trying to keep some kind of consistency going. It just saves confusion, particularly when you end up with quite a few div classes, which you will in something like this. Right, so we basically want to be assigning things. Now I know that it's the second one across, and I know it's the second one down. And now if I just refresh, it sits there. It's got the same styling, got the same underline, and that's because they're both H1, and I styled the H1 and then used the div class to place. So it's kind of just being a little bit smart and efficient, and that's all that needs. That's really all that needs. Now, the next one here is a little bit more involved. So I've got an image with my overlay. So I'm basically doing this, but I'm having to do it twice in the same box. And so how do I tell this to sit in the top, and then this sit below it, and then this one to sit over that one, and then this one to sit over that one? So effectively, if I had another grid layout and said that there's going to be two boxes in this grid layout, and it's going to fill this space in the grid that's already there, then I can say image 1 to the top, image 2 to the grid bottom, then text to the top, text to the bottom, and the overlay. Right, so first things first then, I guess. Let's just say that, and then we're going to put in here div class oh my goodness, editor section. Right, and then in there I'm going to have I need to stop trying copy pasting things. It's just quicker to type it. Image. Right there, and that'll be class. Because I've got two images, I need to kind of tell them individually. So I'm going to go editor 1. You cannot start with a number in a class, so I could call it E1 if I want. Duplicate, and this is then obviously going to be E2. Then, not to mention, I've basically got this over again. What the heck happened there? Give me that only. Copy there. Paste. Thank you. Jeepers, I don't know. Right. And then again. Okay. So this is not main overlay now. This is editor over 1. Editor over 2. Right. Okay. So I got one main box. I'm going to say this is going to be one group of things. This is going to be one group of things. Because this is one thing that we want to put down the image, and then this is another thing that I want to put over the image. That's why they need to be grouped the way they are. So first of all, let's chuck this in. Once I chuck this div class in, because the images haven't been given widths to fit inside things are going to go a little bit haywire. So let's just even check what's going to happen now. So it's chucked it up in the top left corner. So I know that the column's fine, and it's just the grid row that needs shifting. Right. Let's see what happens now. So everything's kind of squashed up because it's trying to fit in. So if I go, oh, oops. And tell the image to be a width of 100%. That should fix the sizing issue. There we go. So now we need to put these up here and go from there. I don't know why that's still not overlaying. Maybe because of how, it's because of how stretched this is. Yeah. So in terms of dots. Okay, so editor section, we now need to say you're going to be two things. So we're going to say display grid. You don't need to leave a space here. I'm just kind of doing this because I'm trying to separate out my grid stuff versus my kind of positioning things, if I will. Right, so grid dash template columns. There's only one, but if I don't put it in, it's going to start trying to put things across when you start overlapping things. Grid dash template rows 1 FR 1 FR, which means 50%, 50%. Great. Now I can say you. Actually, no, let's start with the image first. Editor 1. Now I'm talking about the grid that I'm dealing with, so it's basically just going to be grid dash column 1, grid dash rows 1. Right, and I can tell also the overlay. So that was dot editor. Call it simple like that. I called it that. Oh, I was close. I was close. Right. Do the same, and then I'll say align south to end, because it doesn't really matter for the image because it's filling the whole thing anyway. Then I can do the same thing again for 2 and 2, except we're going into the second row down. Right, let's see what this does. There you go. So that's really just clipped everything together quite nicely. Now this one here is a smaller title, so I should go back into this one here and then say, oh, you're an H3. H3s are smaller, so if I style the H3s, it's going to still receive all the same H3 styling. Oh, what am I doing? Right, so I'll go to where the H2 was, and I'll make the H3 next to it, just so that way I can kind of group them together a wee bit, particularly when I'm looking for things. It makes it nicer. So it's really just the font size I need to tweak, and I might say 12 or something. Let's see what it likes. Oh yes, and because I changed the color, I have to change that because right. So there's that one. Probably needs a little bit of spacing, so I'll do that as well. I'll just put that same one in again, I guess. Yep. So I can show you how to shorthand things a little bit. So I can say BH1 and apply this for H3, because most of that's the same with the exception of the font size. So if I take this off now, margin as well, it's done all the same stuff. Yeah. See, we're the H1, where's the H1 gone? Yeah, see, it's completely different, so it doesn't really want to be like that. Do that. There you go, still what you're saying. Okay, and then I also want this a wee gap in here. So, this is where we go to where we've got our editor there. And I'll just go grid dash gap. Now I want a top bottom of 5 pixels and a left right gap of 0 pixels. I think I got that around the right way. Yes, I did. And see how this one's not quite fitting now? Because obviously these are on a proportion. This is fitting in proportion. We said be 100% high, but we never said, wide, but we never said anything about the height. It's just auto do your height. And this, see how this feels like it's come up on an image? It's because this is actually positioned to do with the box and nothing to do with the image. And the image just happens to be in the grid box as well. So I will go back up to my main, and I will then say height 100% of the box you're in, and it will just stretch it a wee bit. There you go. So this is where you will get these things where now if I shrink them down, they're all kind of lovely and nice, and I can resize them up and down. And yeah, so obviously once they get really small, this is when things will start to kind of look like they're breaking a wee bit. I guess I can tell it to do the height for that as well. So section image width, height 100%. There you go. But obviously once it's getting down here, you would change your layout for like a mobile layout or what have you, but that's a year 13 thing for those of my students. So there you go. That's another part I'd say, and then we're going to do this next part here, which is it's a little bit more full on. We might do the top section first, I think, as a warm up, and then we'll do this one next. So there you have it.